Ethan wiped the sweat from his forehead as he tightened the last bolt on the cargo ship's engine. Sparks flew from the welding tool in his hand, and the hum of the engine filled the small repair bay. The busy spaceport outside was full of merchants, travelers and traders from dozens of worlds. Ships of all shapes and sizes zoomed across the skyways, leaving colorful trails behind them. For Ethan, it was just another day of fixing ships and earning credits. He had been a human engineer for many years, traveling across the galaxy, repairing ships for anyone who could pay. Humans were few in this sector, and most aliens underestimated them. They called humans fragile, weak, and reckless. Ethan didn't care. Humans were clever, adaptable, and brave when needed. He had learned that on every mission, on every ship, he repaired. The clang of metal against metal startled him. He looked up and saw a small hovercraft struggling to land near the port. Its engines sputtered, and black smoke rose from the sides. Ethan ran outside, his tool belt clanging. The craft wobbled dangerously in the air, heading straight for a busy docking area. "Everyone clear," he shouted, waving his hands. People jumped aside just in time. Ethan ran toward the failing hovercraft, calculating the quickest way to help. He knew he couldn't stop it from crashing completely, but he could reduce the damage. With a mix of timing, strength, and quick thinking, Ethan grabbed a nearby tether cable and shot it toward the craft. It wrapped around the landing strut, and he yanked with all his strength. The hovercraft slammed to the ground with a loud thud, metal screeching, but it did not explode. Sparks and smoke filled the air. The hatch of the hovercraft opened and a figure stepped out. Ethan blinked. She was unlike any alien he had ever seen. Her skin was a smooth shade of silver blue, and her eyes glowed faintly with a soft golden light. Her hair floated as if in water, shimmering with pale green highlights. She wore elegant robes trimmed with gold, and her presence seemed to command attention without a word. The alien princess bowed slightly to Ethan. "You saved me," she said in a voice that was soft, yet strong. "I am Princess Liara of the Zaylan Empire." Ethan scratched his head, unsure how to respond. Humans were taught to respect rank, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. Just lucky, I guess," he said. He smiled awkwardly. "Name's Ethan." Liara's golden eyes studied him. There was something different in the way she looked at him. Unlike the other aliens he had met, she did not seem arrogant or distant. She seemed curious. Before Ethan could ask more, a shadow fell across the hovercraft. Two figures emerged from the smoke and flames. They wore black armor and carried strange energy weapons. Their faces were hidden behind helmets, but their body language was aggressive. Liara's eyes narrowed. "They intend to harm me. Protect me, human." Ethan felt a surge of adrenaline. Humans were considered weak, but in moments like this, courage mattered more than size or strength. He glanced at his tool belt and quickly grabbed a small plasma welder. It wasn't a weapon, but it could create sparks and distractions. The attackers charged. Ethan moved first, stepping in front of Liara. He swung the welder, creating a shower of sparks. The attackers hesitated, unprepared for this unusual tactic. He ducked, rolled, and kicked a loose crate at one of them. The crate knocked the weapon out of the alien's hands. Liara moved beside him, her robes flowing gracefully as she pulled a small energy blade from her belt. Her movements were precise and powerful. Together, human and alien worked as a team. Ethan provided distractions and brute force, while Liara struck with elegance and skill. Within moments, the attackers realized they were outmatched. They retreated into the shadows, disappearing before reinforcements could arrive. Breathing heavily, Ethan looked at Liara. She was calm, composed, yet there was a flicker of relief in her golden eyes. "You were brave," she said quietly. "Most humans would have fled. Most aliens would have hesitated. But you acted." Ethan shrugged, feeling both embarrassed and proud. "I guess humans aren't as weak as some think," he said. Liara smiled faintly. "No, you are clever and fearless. These qualities are rare even among my people." She paused, looking at him with curiosity. I have been trapped in duties and expectations all my life. Rarely do I meet someone who is different, someone who thinks freely. Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. He was just an engineer, a simple human traveling through space. Yet here was a princess acknowledging him as an equal. The idea was thrilling and frightening all at once. Suddenly, her advisors arrived. They were tall, armored figures with sharp features and stern expressions. "Princess, who is this human?" one demanded. "How dare he interfere with royal matters?" Liara stepped forward, standing tall. "He saved my life," she said firmly. "He acted without hesitation. That is a quality I respect." The advisors exchanged worried glances. Humans were outsiders. They had no place in royal affairs. Yet Liara's gaze did not waver from Ethan. She trusted him. That was enough for now. Ethan could barely believe what was happening. He had only wanted to fix ships and survive in the galaxy. Now he was standing beside an alien princess, recognized for bravery and possibly friendship or more. The port authorities arrived and secured the area. Liara's hovercraft was repaired by her attendants. She looked at Ethan one last time before stepping back into her craft. "You have my gratitude, human," she said softly. "I hope we meet again." Ethan nodded, unable to speak. The princess turned, and the hovercraft lifted off gracefully into the crowded skies. He watched her go, feeling an unusual mix of pride and longing. As the sun set over the spaceport, Ethan realized his life had changed forever. Something had begun between him and the alien princess, something neither of them fully understood yet. He wiped his hands, straightened his back, and whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning." The day after the attack, Ethan could hardly focus on his work. He kept thinking about Princess Liara and the way her golden eyes had looked at him. Most humans never had a chance to meet a princess, let alone fight beside one. But now, somehow, she had trusted him. A soft hum drew his attention. A small communicator floated down from the sky outside his repair bay. He caught it and read the message. "Human Ethan, your presence is requested aboard my cruiser, Princess Liara." Ethan blinked. He had not expected this. His heart raced. A human rarely received a direct invitation from alien royalty. After a few moments of hesitation, he grabbed his tool belt and followed the directions. The cruiser was massive, with sleek silver-blue armor that reflected the bright lights of the spaceport. As Ethan stepped inside, he was greeted by a quiet corridor filled with alien technology he had only read about in manuals. Floating panels, glowing conduits, and silent drones moved around, maintaining the ship without a single crew member in. Liara waited in a small chamber near the engine room. She stood with her hands folded, looking over a holographic display of the ship. Her robes shimmered in the soft light. When she saw Ethan, she smiled, the same faint, mysterious smile from before. "You came," she said simply. Ethan nodded. "I wasn't sure what I would find here, but I came." Liara gestured to the holographic display. "There are malfunctions in my cruiser's defense systems. I need your expertise. If I cannot repair them in time, my enemies may strike again." Ethan's eyes widened. "Defense systems? I usually work on engines and cargo modules. Weapons aren't my specialty." "You have clever hands and a quick mind," Liara said. "That is all I require. Sometimes ingenuity is more valuable than knowledge of weapons." Ethan swallowed nervously but began examining the consoles. The systems were unlike any human technology he had seen: complex circuits, floating control panels, and adaptive security measures. But humans had a reputation for thinking differently. Hours passed as Ethan worked, Liara beside him, giving precise instructions. She was patient, yet determined. He noticed the way she studied his methods, curious and attentive. They talked occasionally, exchanging small stories of their worlds. Ethan learned that Liara had grown up surrounded by strict rules, expected to lead her empire someday, yet forbidden from making personal choices. "You seem free in your thinking," she said quietly during a short break. "Humans make choices without fear. even when danger is near. I envy that. Ethan shrugged. Freedom is simple for humans. We don't have councils or armies telling us what we must do. But sometimes it comes with risk. Liara nodded. Risk? Yes, something I rarely get to take. But you, human, seem to embrace it naturally. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Red lights flashed and a siren wailed. Ethan and Liara rushed to the main control panel. A fleet of enemy ships had entered the sector. They were the same group that had attacked her hovercraft. Clearly, the attackers wanted her captured this time. Liara's expression hardened. They are faster than I expected. We must act quickly. Ethan, scan the defensive controls. Your weapons are fine, but the targeting systems are malfunctioning. I can fix them. But I need you to follow my instructions. She nodded. Do as you must, human. Working together, Ethan guided Liara through repairs while she piloted the cruiser. They moved like a single team, their skills complementing each other. Ethan recalibrated turrets and redirected power, creating defenses in ways the enemy did not anticipate. Liara executed maneuvers with precision, trusting his guidance. When the enemips attacked, Ethan had never been on a real warship before. Even the largest cargo ships he worked on were small compared to Princess Liara's cruiser. The halls were wide, filled with glowing panels and strange humming machinery. Drones floated silently, tending to the ship's needs. Yet despite the grandeur, tension filled the air. Liara's empire was not at peace. The warning siren blared again. Ethan jumped, nearly dropping his tools. Liara's calm voice came over the intercom. They are here, she said. The faction that attacked us before. They underestimated humans. Let's see if they underestimate one more. Ethan swallowed. Humans were considered weak by most alien civilizations. Many assumed they were small, fragile, and simple. Yet in situations like this, humans thought differently. Ethan had survived dangerous situations before, sometimes through strength, but often through clever thinking. Liara's cruiser moved into position in a contested star system. Enemy ships had gathered, forming a blockade. Their numbers were greater, their weapons sharper, and their intentions clear: capture the princess or destroy the ship. Ethan studied the control panels. He noticed patterns in the enemy fleet movements, predictable timing in their attacks, weak points in their formation. Princess, he called, I think I can help, but I need control of some systems you might not normally give me. Liara raised an eyebrow but nodded. You have earned that trust, Ethan. Do what you must. Using his human intuition, Ethan rerouted power to certain shields and weapons, adjusting the cruiser's defenses in ways the aliens never expected. He used distractions, feints, and timing to make the ship appear weaker than it actually was. Enemy ships approached, thinking they had an easy target, only to find themselves trapped in energy fields and deflected attacks. Liara watched in awe as Ethan's strategies worked. You think differently, she said quietly. Humans are unpredictable. It is fascinating. Ethan grinned despite the tension. Unpredictable can be useful. Sometimes rules and strength aren't enough. You need a plan no one expects. The enemy fired. Missiles streaked toward the cruiser, energy beams slicing through space. Ethan's adjustments redirected shields just in time. Missiles exploded harmlessly against the reinforced hull, beams deflected in precise angles. Liara piloted with perfect precision, trusting Ethan's guidance entirely. Despite the danger, Ethan noticed small moments: the way Liara's hands moved over the controls, the focus in her eyes, and the subtle appreciation in her expression. When his tactics worked, she was not just a princess, she was a warrior in her own right. Yet she valued his perspective, something few of her advisors had ever done. One enemy ship tried a daring maneuver to flank them. Ethan tapped a console, activating an old-style human strategy of bait and trap. The enemy took it, thinking the cruiser was vulnerable. They flew directly into a trap of concentrated energy fields and immobilizing beams. The human's ingenuity had turned the tide. Liara laughed softly, a sound Ethan had not expected from a princess during battle. You are remarkable, human. I underestimated your species, and perhaps I underestimated you. Ethan chuckled, keeping one eye on the panels. I told you humans are clever. Sometimes survival depends on more than power. Sometimes it depends on brains and courage. After an intense fight, the enemy ships retreated. The princess's cruiser was intact and the blockade had been broken. Ethan wiped sweat from his forehead, exhausted but exhilarated. Liara stepped close, her golden eyes glowing with admiration. You have done more than save me, she said softly. You have proven that humans can match the strongest of my empire. Your courage and intelligence, and they are rare. I am grateful. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. I just did what I thought was best. You did your part too. Without your skill, I couldn't have done it alone. Liara's expression softened. It is true. We work together. I trust you, Ethan. Perhaps more than I have trusted anyone. He swallowed, unsure of what to say. Humans were not used to being trusted so openly, especially not by royalty from another world. Yet the feeling was strange and wonderful. Their moment was interrupted by a message from Liara's council. The words were brief, but sharp. Your actions have disrupted protocol. We question your judgment, Princess, and the human is not welcome in court. Liara frowned. They cannot see what I see. They fear change, they fear humans. But I will not dismiss what I know to be true. Ethan has proven himself. He is more valuable than many I have known. Ethan's heart raced. Humans were outsiders, yes, but this princess, she valued him. The thought that he might make a difference in an alien empire filled him with cautious hope. Later, in the quiet of the cruiser's observation deck, Ethan watched the stars streak past. Liara joined him, her golden eyes reflecting the cosmos. You understand strategy, she said quietly. And more than that, you understand people. That is something my advisors often fail to see. Humans are underestimated, yes, but they are clever, brave, and capable. You embody that, Ethan. Ethan shook his head. I'm just a human trying to survive. You saved your empire. I just helped a little. Liara smiled, stepping closer. No, you helped much more than a little. You changed the outcome. And perhaps you have changed me as well. Ethan looked at her, heart pounding. He had faced dangers and enemies before, but nothing prepared him for the feeling that grew in his chest. A mixture of respect, admiration, and something deeper. He realized that humans, despite their small size and perceived weakness, could make a difference even in a galaxy that thought them weak. Liara extended her hand. Ethan, stay near me. The path ahead will be dangerous, but I believe, together, we can face it. He took her hand without hesitation. I will follow you anywhere, he said, no matter the danger. For the first time, Ethan felt that being human was a strength, not just in survival or strategy, but in courage, ingenuity, and heart. And beside him, the alien princess trusted him completely. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and the adventure of human and princess was only beginning. The cruiser floated silently above Liara's home planet, the stars reflected on its polished surface. Ethan stood at the observation deck watching the colorful nebulae swirl in the distance. The battles had tested his courage and skills, but now a quiet moment had arrived, a rare peace between the chaos. Liara approached him, her golden eyes soft under the gentle glow of the deck. She leaned against the railing beside him, gazing at the stars. Ethan noticed how calm she seemed, yet he could feel the weight of her responsibilities pressing upon her shoulders. It is beautiful, Ethan said quietly, breaking the silence. All of this, the stars, the planets, it feels endless. Liara nodded, her gaze distant. Yes, and yet, sometimes, even endless skies feel like a prison. I am bound by duty, by expectations, by rules I cannot escape. I often wonder what life would be like if I could make my own choices. Ethan turned to look at her. It must be hard, always having to be perfect, always having to follow rules. Humans have freedom, but even we have our struggles. Still, we get to choose. That choice, it's powerful. Liara smiled faintly. Freedom, yes, it is a gift. I envy humans for that, and you, Ethan. You seem to embrace it naturally. You take risks, act boldly, and yet, you think carefully too. It is rare. Ethan felt a warmth rise in his chest. He had always known humans were clever, adaptable, and brave, but to hear it recognized by an alien princess felt extraordinary. He swallowed, unsure if he could express what he was feeling. Liara, he began, his voice hesitant. I've never met anyone like you. Not in my life. You're brave, smart, and you make me want to do better. To be better. I wish I had more than just this moment with you. I wish I had the chance to stay by your side. Always. Liara turned her gaze fully, to him, her golden eyes locking with his. She seemed surprised, yet something softened in her expression. Ethan, you speak with honesty. Humans often say what they feel, even when it is dangerous. It is refreshing. He took a deep breath. I mean it. I wish I had the chance to wed you, to be with you, no matter the risks, no matter the empire, no matter the stars between us. The words hung in the air. Ethan felt vulnerable, his heart pounding, but he did not look away. Silence stretched for a moment, broken only by the soft hum of the ship. Then Liara's lips curved into a gentle smile. She stepped closer, her hand brushing lightly against his. Ethan, yes. Ethan blinked, unable to believe it. Yes? He whispered, his voice trembling. Yes, she repeated, her golden eyes shining with warmth. I will be with you. I choose you. You have my heart, and I trust you. You are brave, clever, and human. But that does not matter. You are everything I have ever hoped for. Ethan felt a rush of relief and joy. He reached for her hand, holding it gently. I won't let you down, I promise. No matter what comes, I will stay by your side. Liara's smile deepened. I know you will. That is why I can say this. Yes. No matter what my empire thinks, no matter what dangers await us, I choose you. Only you. They stood together, hand in hand, gazing out at the stars. In that quiet moment, the universe seemed to shrink to just the two of them. Ethan realized that this was more than a bond of duty or loyalty. It was something rare, something that could transcend species, culture, and expectation. The moment of intimacy was interrupted by the soft chime of Liara's communicator. Her expression sobered as she glanced at it. The council. They are discussing our future. The Grand Council chamber of the Zalan Empire was massive and imposing. Tall, armored alien nobles sat in rows, their glowing eyes fixed on Princess Liara and the human beside her. The chamber hummed with tension, voices murmuring accusations and warnings. The walls shimmered with light panels displaying the symbols of the Empire, a reminder that tradition ruled above all. Ethan felt a tight knot in his stomach. He had faced enemy fleets, sabotage, and life-threatening battles, but this was different. Here, the enemy was not outside in space. It was inside the Empire itself, in the minds and hearts of the Council. Liara stood at the center, regal and calm despite the storm around her. Beside her, Ethan tried to keep his posture steady. Humans were outsiders here, and most of these nobles had already decided he was unworthy. One of the council members, a tall figure with sharp silver eyes, rose. Princess Liara, he began, his voice cold, your actions in the last battle were reckless, and your association with this human, this outsider, is unacceptable. A human has no place in royal matters. Ethan's hands clenched at his sides. He had expected opposition, but hearing it so openly made his chest tighten. He reminded himself, humans were clever, and he had survived worse. Liara raised her hand, silencing the murmurs. "I am aware of your concerns," she said, her voice calm yet firm. "But the human before you, Ethan, saved my life and the lives of many in our empire. His actions were not reckless. They were courageous, calculated, and necessary. He has proven his value." A ripple of surprise moved through the chamber. Some nobles whispered among themselves, clearly unsettled by Liara's defense. Another council member, older and stern, spoke next. "Your Highness, the Empire has rules. A union with a human is unprecedented. It threatens our traditions and may destabilize the court. Can you risk such an act?" Liara's golden eyes flashed with determination. "I am the princess of this empire. I will protect my people, yes. But I will also choose who I trust, who I stand with, and who stands by me. Ethan has proven that he is worthy. That is my choice." Ethan's heart raced. He had never imagined he would hear a princess defend him in such a way. Humans were outsiders, yes, but he had earned her trust, and now she was risking everything to stand beside him. One particularly loud noble stood, his armor gleaming in the chamber light. "This is an insult to the Empire. A human and unproven species cannot be trusted with the princess. We demand he be removed." Liara stepped forward, her expression unyielding. "I will not remove him. He has fought for this empire. He has proven himself in ways few of you could imagine, and I personally trust him." Ethan took a deep breath, finding courage in her words. Humans had survived impossible odds in the galaxy by thinking differently, by standing firm even when everyone doubted them. He realized this was another challenge, another battle, but one where human ingenuity and courage could still make a difference. He spoke, his voice steady. "I am not here to take your place or your power. I am here because I believe in the princess, and I believe in what we can accomplish together. I know I am an outsider, but I have no intention to harm your empire. I only wish to stand by her side and protect her, as I promised." The chamber went silent. No one expected a human to speak so openly and confidently. Some eyes widened, others narrowed. Liara gave him a proud, subtle nod. The council debated for hours. They questioned Ethan's motives, his capabilities, and even his humanity. Yet every argument he made, every point he raised, demonstrated human courage, ingenuity, and honesty. Slowly, the tide began to shift. Liara's voice echoed over the chamber again. "Do you see the strength of a human, not in size or tradition, but in mind, heart, and loyalty? This is the value I recognize. He stands beside me, not for power, but because he has chosen to act with honor and courage." Some council members grumbled, others whispered quietly. The room was divided, but Liara's determination was undeniable. She had risked reputation, tradition, and even political alliances to protect the human she trusted. Finally, the eldest member of the council spoke. "Princess Liara, we will allow it, for now. But know this, the Empire will watch closely. Any misstep by human or princess will not be forgiven." Liara nodded, accepting the cautious approval. "Thank you. We will not fail you. But know this, loyalty and courage know no species." Ethan exhaled, relief flooding him. Humans had won respect, not through dominance or fear, but through bravery, ingenuity, and honesty. He had survived battles in space, and now he had survived the storm of alien politics. After the council meeting, Liara led Ethan to a quiet balcony overlooking the city below. The twin moons cast silver light over the shimmering towers. Ethan leaned against the railing, exhausted but exhilarated. "You were amazing," Liara said softly, stepping closer. "Not just in battle, but in the chamber. I admire your courage, Ethan." He smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and disbelief. "I only did what I had to do, But it helped that you trusted me. You gave me a chance. Liara placed a hand on his arm. And I chose wisely. You have proven that humans, though few and underestimated, can face challenges even the strongest of my empire cannot predict. You are remarkable, Ethan. And I am glad you are by my side. Ethan felt his chest swell. He had never imagined that a human engineer could stand beside an alien princess and face her empire's council. Yet here he was, not as an outsider, but as someone who had earned respect, trust, and perhaps something more. The city lights below twinkled like stars reflected on the surface of the world. Ethan and Liara stood together in silence, knowing that the Empire might challenge them again, but confident in the bond they had formed. In the quiet of the night, with danger still lingering in the shadows of the galaxy, Ethan realized something important. Courage, loyalty, and human ingenuity could overcome even the strictest rules and the most stubborn traditions. And beside him, the alien princess had chosen him, not for power, not for status, but for who he truly was. Together, they were ready to face whatever storms awaited them next. The day of the ceremony arrived, and the capital of the Zalan Empire buzzed with anticipation. Towering spires reflected the twin suns above, and streets were filled with citizens from across the empire. Merchants sold bright flowers, artisans displayed intricate crafts, and hovering banners shimmered with the royal crest. Despite the grandeur, there was tension in the air. A human marrying the alien princess was unprecedented. Some whispered doubt, some hoped for change, and many watched with curiosity. Ethan stood outside the palace gates, adjusting his simple human attire. He was nervous, but not because of the ceremony itself. The council had allowed the union, but they were still wary. One wrong move could ruin everything. He glanced at Liara, who appeared beside him in flowing silver-blue robes adorned with gold trim. Her golden eyes shone with calm determination. "You look beautiful," Ethan said softly. Liara smiled, a small blush coloring her cheeks. "And you, human, look prepared to stand beside me. I am proud of you." He swallowed, realizing that words alone could not express what he felt. All the battles, the political storms, the whispered confessions, they had led to this moment. The palace doors opened and the crowd fell silent as the ceremony began. Music floated through the halls, blending human melodies with alien instruments. Citizens from countless worlds watched, some cheering, some quietly observing. The council members were present, their expressions guarded but respectful. Liara stepped forward, her hand reaching for Ethan's. He took it firmly, feeling the warmth of her grip. Together, they walked to the ceremonial platform overlooking the city and the stars beyond. The universe seemed to hold its breath. The officiant, a tall alien with silver robes, began the ceremony. "Today, we witness a union unprecedented in the history of our empire," he said, his voice echoing across the chamber. "A human and a princess stand together by choice, trust, and courage. May this union bring strength, unity, and hope." Ethan looked at Liara. We are ready," he whispered. Liara nodded, her golden eyes shining. "Yes, together we are ready," the officiant continued, speaking words that Ethan struggled to understand fully, but the meaning was clear. They were committing themselves to each other, promising loyalty, respect, and partnership. Ethan felt a surge of emotion. He had never imagined a life like this, standing beside a princess, not just as a protector, but as a partner. Liara stepped closer to him, her hand brushing his cheek lightly. "Do you promise, Ethan, to stand by me, to face whatever challenges come and to honor this bond?" "I do," Ethan said, his voice strong and steady. "I promise to be by your side, to protect you, and to honor you in every way I can. No matter the danger, no matter the galaxy, I will stand with you." Liara's golden eyes filled with emotion. "And I promise, Ethan, to choose you, to trust you, and to face every challenge with you. Together we are stronger than anything the galaxy can throw at us." The officiant raised his hands. By your choices, by your courage, and by the trust you have shown, I declare you united. You are partners, bound not by tradition alone, but by heart, mind, and action. Ethan and Liara turned to face the crowd, hand in hand. The citizens erupted in applause. Many had expected doubt, but now they saw something new. Unity, bravery, and the power of trust. Humans, once underestimated, had proven themselves capable of love, courage, and honor. The council,